All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Sandy Reyes-Moran. I am a fourth-year business administration honor student, and I want to thank my faculty mentor, the fantastic Dr. Wesley Sims from the School of Education, for guiding me through this whole process. Today, I am here to introduce my research titled COVID-19's Impact on California Education, K-6. A quick overview of this presentation is as follows. I'll start off with a quick introduction, the 5-step methodology, results, discussion, other information, conclusion, ending with a brief acknowledgement. On March 16, 2020, school districts all over the state of California began to close, forcing students from K-6 to transition into remote learning. This was a drastic change for many students, as well as schools that no one was really prepared for. I have summarized the debilitating effects that have recently surfaced within K-6 students as a result of both the virus and the measures enacted to combat its transmission, such as remote learning and decreased socialization, by analyzing test scores through the California Department of Education and condensing data from multiple studies and sources. And we will demonstrate the direct effects the state's remote learning policies have had on K-6 students and educators. Second, we will discuss the current approaches to combating these problems and explaining why they have been unsuccessful in preventing the troubling regression in quality of California's grade school education. And finally, we will propose novel and strong solutions that will work towards removing the gap in knowledge that has slowed down the current students, and especially those of low socioeconomic status who have been disproportionately affected by recent events. In order to comprehend my research process, I want to state that this is a systematic literature review composed of 5 steps. So step 1, framing the question. What were the hindering effects that have surfaced within K-6 students as a direct result of the virus? What effect did the measures enacted to combat its spread have on students in both the short and the long term, such as decreased socialization and student engagement? How were minorities and students from low socioeconomic backgrounds affected relative to other students? What have been the steps to combat this social inequality? And what are the current approaches to combating these issues? And have they been successful in preventing troubling regression in the quality of California's grade school education across all backgrounds? In step 2, we will identify relevant work. In order to answer these questions, I relied on studies centering around education and lingering effects. My ultimate goal is to be able to answer my initial questions and be able to share my consolidating findings. Step 3, by being able to identify inclusion criteria such as CASP results from the 2019 school year to 2022, we are able to see accurate results on grade levels from 3 to 6th grade, since this is the cohort that has been affected the most. I took exclusion criteria from the McKinsey and Company researchers, as the research was able to focus on a bigger controlled group of 1.6 million elementary students from 40 different states. Step 4, we will summarize the evidence and carefully study and summarize the data for further analysis. And the last step directs to the conclusion, where we then draw from the collected data while carefully avoiding bias. For this presentation of my research, I want to focus on grade 3 to 6, forgive me. A study from Stanford University shows us that 3rd grade was considerably the most impacted. This table provided by Stanford demonstrates a decline that averages to a 5.3% among 3rd graders onto 6th grade, the most impacted being on 3rd graders, where we see a 6.4% decline in their ELA test scores. The authors of this study say that it is severely concerning, as children are at the prime of their academic development. In a research done by the Annie E. Casey Foundation and Center for Demographic Analysis, they report that children at the 3rd grade level, when lacking the proper reading skills, are 4 times less likely to graduate high school than those that meet or excel expectations. Research supports that there will be a snowball effect that will not only impact those children that are behind, but their families and the country as well. These test scores are brought by the children that were in kindergarten and whose learning was interrupted by the school closures. Following spring 2023, California test scores will be able to determine if there has been any improvement, especially on those children from struggling school districts. Given the significance of literacy for the development of academic skills, this influence on ELA development in the primary grades is alarming. A significant amount of earlier research has highlighted third grade literacy as a crucial threshold for kids' future academic and personal performance. Students may face delays in the development of other reading-related skills if they are unable to make up for their loss, making it challenging for them to access future academic materials and learning. Just like in ELA test scores, math test scores show a downward spiral. Students that were in 5th grade when the closures happened have struggled to catch up. Although not our focus, we need to point out that 8th graders, at the time of the closures, 5th graders, have had one of the worst impacts. This takes effect on the future of these children that one day might want to pursue a STEM-focused career. Both 3rd and 4th graders show a 6.7% decline for those that have met or exceeded expectations, and there is a 6.4% drop on 5th grade, followed by a 6.1% for 6th grade. In this slide, I have compiled data from the California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress, or better known as CASP. The main goal of CASP system is to support educators by encouraging high-quality teaching and learning through the use of various assessment strategies. Diving into this database of the CASP system, I was able to track the progress of 3rd to 6th grade as they were the ones that were mostly impacted. They are the cohort that have been struggling to readjust to in-person learning. So let's talk about the concept of unfinished learning. By definition, it is the broad loss of knowledge, of information, and abilities, frequently brought on by significant pauses or breaks in a student's education. As a result of months of canceled classes and the inadequate transition to remote learning, grade school students have fallen far behind their predecessors. The effect of the missed lessons and lower quality of teaching has been so profound that a new term has been coined to describe it: unfinished learning. This term aptly describes the reality of students not receiving the education that many before them did. Their learning as of yet is unfinished, and this must be rectified if they are to complete effectively and entering the job market. Instructors were not trained for remote teaching, and the hasty transition has led to millions of students across California not receiving the education that they need to prepare them for their future. Their loss of knowledge will have prolonged consequences, and it's already visible across all grades. The prolonged effects of the COVID-19 pandemic will affect the current generation for years to come, if not addressed quickly, for perhaps their entire lives. The current estimated economic damage that will result from this decrease in average education is currently estimated at about $40,000 to $60,000 in debt over their lifetime, and current projections show that that number will only increase as more pandemic effects continue to unfold. The physical health of students has suffered as well. The Journal of School Health published a recent research article focusing on how the recent lack of physical education and social emotional skill building among students has led to an increase in mental health problems and higher stress levels across all age groups. Since transitioning to remote learning, physical education has been completely neglected, and students have missed out on motor and movement skills development required for maintaining physical health. For many grade students, this was their only way to get any physical activity that helped them maintain low stress levels, as exercise in youth is strongly linked to reduced chances of depression and anxiety. Both the physical and mental health of students has suffered, and as the effects of the pandemic continue to persist, this problem will only continue to grow in severity. Students have also been affected mentally by the stress of the pandemic, and it has created an effect on their overall brain development. Students of low socioeconomic status are disproportionately affected by the emotional stress induced by the COVID-19. Researchers have found that stress due to loss of life, food insecurity, and the poor transition into remote learning has significant negative impacts on a child's brain development. The research has found that these factors can cause the prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus of a child's brain to lose significant volume, which results in decreased mental performance and lower memory retrieval. Furthermore, they have discovered an increase in aggressive behavior because of these factors, which will only worsen with age. As we can see, there is a lot we need to do, and in order to combat these effects, we have many potential strategies that can be employed to mitigate these effects and attempt to repair the loss in learning. The approaches include giving students greater access to online resources and teaching them how to effectively research their own projects to work on with consistent guidance, development of summer learning programs that could offer an opportunity to catch up on the missed months of instructions and improve engagement in remote learning through promotion of student discussion and collaboration. Another suggested approach would be to work on attempts to re-enroll students and offer more engaging learning conditions. Additionally, it is crucial that California recognizes the importance of mental health on students and work on creating programs to provide mental health services to all students, educators, and parents. In 2022, California's Governor Gavin Newsom introduced College Corps, a first of its kind initiative in order to help statewide challenges, and among them is education. The program itself consists of college students going into community centers and classrooms with the objective of helping the learning curve. This is a reinforcement and additional support for many school districts in California. Within the following years, this program will continue to expand, offering more help to students all over the state. The pandemic really took so much from us, especially kids. It is our jobs as adults, as scholars, as educators, and as leaders to begin to bring positive change and begin to undo much of the damage that the pandemic has left behind. The fact that the state and the nation, we were completely unprepared for COVID can't be changed, but there are still things we can do going forward by providing current and future students improve online learning resources and giving teachers the tools they need to teach online effectively. This will help prevent future crises like this one. We also need to build upon summer learning programs to help students catch up to their peers, to improve student engagement and collaboration through engaging projects they can choose, and definitely increase grants and fellowships for students inequitably affected. I want to take this chance to thank University Honors. Thank you for all the guidance and support. Thank you all for being our biggest cheerleaders. I want to thank my incredible support system, my friends and family for your encouraging motivation, and special thanks to my faculty mentor, Dr. Wesley Sims, for helping me through this journey. And last but not least, my partner, John, for being my rock and my everything.
Thank you so much, Sandy, for that wonderful presentation. I think